So good afternoon, everybody. Can you all hear me? So thanks for coming to this session. You know, traditionally this is the difficult session straight after lunch, but we've got such a good lineup of speakers that I know that nobody's going to be looking at their laptops, phones, or falling asleep or leaving the room, and the doors are all going to be locked. So this session is about strengthening research ecosystem. So it's about the sort of the broader support that you create and is provided for your research. And I wanted to give you 3 pointers to what I think to look for in this. I think the first thing I want to say is that try and look at this session not being about the speakers who are on the stage, and I apologize to the speakers for saying this, but actually it's about all of you and what you can do. So the second point really is, as you listen to them, ask yourselves that for each of these themes, what you can do to make a difference to the research ecosystems. And the third point, which I think will be interesting, is what are the links and threads that you can draw between the different talks. And just, a simple example was, Professor Aurora is going to talk about leadership, but I'm sure most of you will recognize that influencing policy is obviously sort of is a theme of a leader. But just before we start, I want to do my usual thing of embarrassing 2 or 3 people. I can't see him now, is Dr. Buddha Basnaut here? He's already standing, so make yourself known. I just want to say, Dr. Buddha, I'm so pleased he's here. He runs a Wellcome funded unit in Nepal, which actually comes under actually a big program that we fund in Vietnam. And I'm really thrilled that Dr. Buddha is here. And as you heard yesterday morning, the Secretary of DBT was talking about how the Indra Alliance might reach out to South Asia. So we've jumped the gun a little bit and invited him here, and I hope some of you will meet him and make him feel welcome. I also want to embarrass 2 colleagues, and they know I'm going to say this, from Cancer Research UK. Can you stand up and not hide? So Anne and Deborah are both here in having discussions with Indra Alliance and also the Department of Biotechnology. So we're really glad that you're here. Thank you. So I think the first speaker is Professor Aurora, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. He's from the Inklen Trust. But just the very brief context here is that, and this is from Wellcome, not the Indra Alliance, that we commissioned a couple of studies, one in India and one in sub-Saharan Africa, to actually look at the more sort of local context for the path to leadership. Knowing that all of you are on a path to leadership, and knowing that leadership training can make a contribution to that, but actually wanting to help figure out what's the appropriate kind of training and context within India and also many of the African countries where we fund and operate. So I'll invite Professor Aurora. He knows I'm going to be watching the time. And what I'm going to do is at the end of each session, I'm going to ask 2 or 3 questions, ask you to ask questions, because I think it's a little bit hard to sit for an hour listening to talks. So I'll have 2 or 3 questions after each talk. We'll hear the next talk, and then at the end, I really do want to make sure we've got time for discussion and questions so that we can pull it all together. And the speakers know that I'm going to be watching them carefully. Thanks a lot. Over to you.